I'm Sasha De Sola. I'm a principal dancer and I am dancing the dual role of Odette in Swan Lake. Odette has quite an emotional journey in Act 2. When Odette first enters on stage and she's completely alone, there should be a sense of placid serenity. She has been under the spell for a while. There's a sense of acceptance in those first moments until she meets Siegfried. Her physicality changes completely. She tenses much more. There's a different shape to the neck even, the way that she looks at him. It's all in the eyes, I think, always. She has a rush of emotion. A big part of it is, of course, fear of him, but fear of the unknown. I think, too, there's also this sense of fated love in just this hint of a second. I like to think through my characters very much, but in the moment, I try to release any preconceived notion to allow some space for spontaneity. I don't actually know exactly what I'm gonna feel at any given moment. I'm just allowing, one, the music, and then two, the circumstances of the story, and especially my connection with my partner to inform that. Siegfried slowly tries to win her over, approaches her gently and with tenderness, and she begins to, step by step, little by little, trust him. There's the Act 2 pas de deux, of course, where, in my opinion, that's really when Odette fully allows Siegfried in. And in her vulnerability, in her almost transparency, emotional transparency, I find her to be one of the strongest characters in ballet. I remember the first time I ever performed that pas de deux, and what I remember the most actually is this feeling of stillness in the entire opera house. It was such a magical feeling. Siegfried is very hopeful. I would call him maybe, well, it depends, you have to ask Siegfried. Somewhat of a hopeless romantic. But Odette is more wise, and she knows it can only end in tragedy. But she does have this moment of exuberance, finally, at the end of Act 2. I think for the first time, she feels hopeful, just for that moment, that there can be a future that's bright for her. I think that's the first time she's felt like that in a very long time. Amongst all of these classical, meaty roles that any ballerina dreams of doing, Swan Lake allows the most freedom in interpretation, in physicality, even in character development and how the dichotomy of Odette Odile plays out. But of course, you do know what an iconic role it is. I take inspiration from so many incredible ballerinas that came before me. And I think one of the things that's important for me, because if not it gets a little dangerous, is taking that inspiration but then putting that away for a moment and letting it manifest in myself, in my own version. This is the second time around that I'll be performing Swan Lake here. I think one of the things that I'm most looking forward to is discovering Odette in different ways. How she connects with Siegfried. This time around, I feel more agency in her connection with him. I want Odette to actually bring Siegfried with her, for her to drive that connection a little bit more and really give her more of a voice earlier on in the second act. It's a little bit like I've met her before. I know who she is. So now that I know who she is, I can dive a little deeper. There's so much beauty in being so vulnerable, so transparent, so open with the world, even when the world has wronged you. Her soul is much more powerful than any spell that is cast on her. And in the end, that is what makes Odette special. Her soul, her spirit, her heart.